The government shutdown is over and cable news channels are freaking out. Not in a good way. They doubt ratings will come their way. So what are they going to turn to instead? What if we told you it's holiday dread 24/7 on MSNBC and CNN, as suddenly they're taking a keen interest in the inflation nation they never cared about under the Biden administration? Hello, folks, and fancy that we're back again. More interesting things to say about Hollywood and the channels they control. And yes, MSNBC and Warner Brothers, they both belong to big entertainment companies. Folks, as we get ready to dive in, click the like button. We're going to tell you what the plan is. What is the strategy for these cable channels that have been depending on a couple of things to keep them afloat? What will they gloat about now to keep the viewers coming back? We've got the data you need to see coming your way. Click the like button. And here we go. Cable news is going to lose because the shutdown is over. They got nothing left to talk about. Oh, wait. They're going to tell you all about how inflation during the holidays should make you hate what's going on across the nation. Colin Rugg has this one. A fuming MSNBC panel finally realizes Democrats only kept the government shut down because they wanted to use it to help them in the elections last Tuesday. Now, I'm not going to weigh in whether I think that's true or not. Does seem highly, what would you say? It happened that way, didn't it? It happened that way. You can take from it what you think, but don't blink when you hear people say that. Here's how MSNBC is handling the government shutdown being over, which one would, typically believe is a cause for celebration, right? We've got, darn it, the airports are working again. Food stamps are going back out on the trucks. But, MSNBC says, yuck, yuck, yuck.
It's strange, Dean, to go back to the original sort of part of this conversation of whether he is a good deal maker. I mean, in a way, it seems like the president is kind of getting what he wanted 40 days ago when all this started. He was out there saying that, this is all about Democrats trying to give health care to illegal immigrants. He just said that to reporters moments ago, repeated that refrain that Democrats had actually very successfully pushed back against. Then there's all this energy. In the wake of the election on Tuesday, the president made remarks saying basically, wow, Republicans are being harmed by all of this, acknowledging that he was on his back foot. And now here he is winning again? How did he do it?
The Democrats, I don't understand how a Democratic senator goes, wow, we won really big. Let me cave now. I don't understand. That makes no sense to me.
Well, maybe if to Anthony's point, if they were cynical, like if we wanted just to hold this out until we get through the election, and then after the election, we got the wins, let's.
So MSNBC is accidentally saying the quiet part out loud. So MSNBC is not happy. Now, people are going back to work and all these federal workers are getting paychecks. MSNBC is not happy, right? What about CNN? How's CNN handling this? Here's Scott Jennings, and we'll see what they have to say.
How are Republicans going to use leverage in their fight with Democrats when the Democrats are actually the ones with the upper hand in the eyes of voters?
Oh, I'm sure Democrats will be more than happy to open the government now. The election's over. I mean, part of the reason they shut it down was to get through tonight.
I mean, I
would suspect they'll be glad to open it up by the end of the week.
Adam Schiff, he was like, hold the line.
AOC, there's lots of rumors of people wanting to open it.
Look, I don't see what is the incentive for Democrats to back down when voters are basically saying Trump's not doing enough, it's the Republicans' fault, and then they basically handed the keys in this past election to the Democrats. Where's the leverage?
Again.
In other words, CNN wanted this to continue. They thought it was going to continue. And guess what? It's not just MSNBC. It's not just CNN. Out of Fox News by Hannah Penrick, The View co-host rails against Democrats who voted to end the shutdown, says Chuck Schumer's days are over. Now, I'm not going to play Sonny. We played enough of Sonny. I just want to say, folks, separating this out from the politics of it necessarily, this is a situation of ratings, okay? Not everybody knows this. Not everybody realizes this. This is a ratings problem for the cable news networks. And why? For the last year or so, they've managed to cover the Middle East and what's going on there. That has largely been de-escalated. Now, we can talk about some of the other issues that are around that right now, especially in conservative media. However, the kinetic side of that has been greatly de-escalated. So they don't have that to talk about right now. The government shutdown was item number 2 that they could live on. And we've seen CNN and MSNBC get slightly increased in ratings over the past month or so as this shutdown has gone on and on. They're not happy that it ended, and they got to find something else to talk about. We'll talk about what it is they're going to go to. I know what it is, and I'll share it with you. But first of all, panel, why are they not happy? I mean, they're not even faking that they're happy. You would think they would at least feign for a minute that they're happy that federal workers, who are largely their biggest demographic that watches and tunes in other than the assisted living crowd, you'd think they would be proud that this thing got done, but they're not. What's going on?
I mean, look, Schumer and Bernie and all of them have told you the reason why, and there's an extension into the media for this as well. Those people, they never cared about them. It was leverage. I mean, Schumer called it leverage himself. Bernie called it leverage. They see it as leverage over the Orange Man, and Orange Man bad, and anything that hurts Orange Man good, even if that hurts average, everyday people who watch our programming.
That's a good point. Very good point. Culture, it's a ratings issue for them, right? I mean, this was big watching. The federal workers were at home, and we know that a large portion of the federal workers are of one particular political persuasion. They had nothing to do but sit at home and watch CNN and MSNBC and stew, and now that's been taken from them.
Well, and I also think that those federal workers learned an awful lot about what the party that they support feels about them. I think that was widely exposed. Conversation around it, calling them stupid voters or leverage or any number of things that happened during the course of the coverage from all these news networks, really kind of clued them in on what the party stands for. It doesn't represent them. It represents a whole lot of other things that aren't platform items traditionally for the Democrats. So I think that exposure was negative largely for the most part. And I think that the minute you start calling your constituency leverage and making everything uncomfortable for them, the leverage you're exerting, I think they're going to break with you a little bit. So I would say it was a very bad strategy. But as far as ratings go, it helped out all of these terrible news organizations. But the problem is it didn't change the fact that people don't believe the legacy media at all. I mean, think about it. We're growing and talking about these issues from all these media companies because that's kind of our bag. But at the same time, like I started perfect timing on starting my new podcast because it focuses on politics, and the politics here were a naked affront to the traditional Democrat platform. And I think that was, again, an absolute disaster. And they can claim, the victory lap and the leverage that they gained based on some elections in blue states with some blue success. But I don't think that changes what they presented to the American public. And I would say media trust has fallen even further. We'll have an actual survey of that by the end of the year that I can point at. But I think that it destroyed the ratings even further. Think about the fact that, as you pointed out, Gutfeld grew, but Fox grew at this time. It grew in viewership. And a lot of these other news networks just are incapable of doing that. And the power dynamic between all these different cable news outlets, I think will shift considerably as most of them are, sent out to pasture in places like Versant and other spinoffs that are coming.
Now, we know what they're going to do. We know where they're going to try to get the ratings, folks. We know them better than they know themselves. Out of CNN, in the last 24 hours, Daniel Dale, fact check, Trump's lying spree about inflation. And you can see they make sure they've always got the windswept, look going on there. President Donald Trump went on a lying spree about inflation last week, says CNN. Grocery prices, gas prices, prescription drug prices, overall prices over just 3 days. Trump made false claims about all of them. Trump was discussing the issue of affordability after Democrats won state and local elections Tuesday, in part by campaigning on the cost of living. He argued that this theme was a con job by the Dems, given how successful he had been in lowering prices. And this CNN article is all about how much the Orange Man is lying and how much you're going to be just dying over the holidays. They want you to believe, and who knows, maybe there's some truth to it, but they want you to believe that the American public is being crushed over Christmas and Hanukkah and Thanksgiving and New Year's and all of that. That's what they're after. That's what they're going to do to get their disaster ratings back up again for the next 2 months. We've talked about this. This is seen, I believe, as a weak point that they can exploit. whether that's telling the truth. But I think there's an actual strategy here of just flat out going for it with everything they've got because they've got nothing else. Jonas, is this going to work out well for the cable companies? Is this their winning strategy to make it be all about inflation, which would thereby essentially be a reverse from the last 2 years where that was what Fox News was doing. Right. Now it'll be CNN and MSNBC.
If they have a primary issue here, if the primary issue is economic populism, which I think is the real issue at this point, because if they can't do anything, like the woke issues seem to be outright rejected by 90% of the population here. And even the people who would be in support of some of those causes are rolling their eyes at the entertainment media, fixating on that, even sees that as using it for opportunistically to try to raise their own profile. So what they have that everyone in America cares about is the cost of eggs, which they think is the reason that Trump got into office. So if they can go after inflation, if they can go after housing prices, if they can go after issues that matter to actual Americans, which is the opposite of what the woke issues were, then yeah, sure, that's something that they can probably sway public opinion on. Looking at this, I see a strange thing where if being critical of Donald Trump while the shutdown ends means that they're criticizing the other side, it's a moment of actual realism from some of these commentators here. If they're going after the Democrats in any way, if they're even slightly going after the elites, that's breaking ranks a little bit here. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see if they actually open up and talk about real problems. I see this as a good thing for the media in general. Maybe they'll learn their lesson and actually talk about things that matter to people instead of things that they want people to care about.
But it's a fascinating thing, Jonas, because it's a role reversal, right? So Fox News was all about inflation. Now Fox News is almost silent about inflation. Right. CNN and MSNBC, when inflation was even higher, wouldn't mention it. Now it's going to be 24/7 inflation for the holidays when it's a little bit lower. It's really interesting to me from the standpoint of, I think it's a great example for people who want to know how the news works. They can check this out and go, wait a minute, when inflation was much higher than this, double this, these two stations had no interest in covering it. No interest at all in covering it. Now it's going to be all they want to talk about. And you're right, it could be a good thing if it brings some pressure to help save Americans. My fear here is to step outside my typical entertainment punditry for a moment and talk about a real world issue. I'm not pleased with either side's solutions here. Right?
No,
I don't like the Mamdani socialist communist stuff. I think that's a real bad idea. I think we've seen plenty of that. To a lesser degree, I don't agree with 50-year mortgages that have you indentured forever to the bank. And I don't think that a 15-year car loan for a depreciating asset is a real strong way for people to build wealth. So neither side is yet presenting to me a great idea that I think captures something we can all take hold of and go forward and bring this young generation into the kind of wealth that the boomers have enjoyed.
Right. I totally agree. And the idea here is, okay, since Obamacare was passed, we've been waiting for a Republican solution on healthcare. And that is something they're thinking real hard on. They're thinking real hard about what that's going to be. They're
always thinking, and they're always thinking, Jonas, if it's not Trump, I'm not convinced Republicans can come up with anything, ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're inept. They're inept. Oh, man, I slipped up and I gave my own opinion on things. Well, get me in there. Ron, Marvin, your thoughts on all of this with the legacy media now clinging to Inflation Nation as their saving grace going into the Christmas and Black Friday season?
Orange Man Bad is money for them. It's a brand at this point. It is what their entire network is about. That's why when 2028 comes along, they're going to have to find something new to talk about because, the Orange Man's going to ride off into the orange sunset.
Oh, no. They'll make either Marco or JD will be Orange Man Jr.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it is whenever the thing that they're focused on ends, they have to find the next worst thing in the world that he just did.
Yep. I agree. Ron, 50-year mortgages, is that the answer to all this? Is that going to make Rachel Maddow be happy again?
No, and frankly, if they're going to focus on inflation, they really should just talk about the Disney parks and everything that goes up there, because Disney parks beats inflation by what, like four to 10 times.
Oh yeah.
And frankly, the price of things like eggs are way down. It just, this is par for the course with the mainstream media, especially when it comes to the back and forth between Fox News. When the political sides shift, it's a shift in the media as well. And what we're seeing right now, and this was interesting because I saw it a lot on X, is the specific names of the outing of these senators that are going this way and giving in and at this time. And I'm like, guys, this is all the simple back and forth of political theater. Again, nobody has any great solutions. I've always said, no matter what my personal politics are, government seems to fail us every single time, and the media fails us on reporting about it accurately. So, which is why the new media is coming up. We have these discussions where we can actually have thoughtful discussions about what's actually going on and the reality versus the propaganda that we are being pushed by these organizations like CBS News in front of us, but also like Disney and ABC and all of this. It's hard to sort through. That's why we need you, Pro. That's why you're here.
It's a great reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that the legacy media exists to depress you. So why let them do so? Here's what you need to do. Get out there and go win, because the government is not always going to be there to be your friend, and the legacy media never is there to do such a thing. It's up to you. Help you and your family sing. Get out there and get to winning. It's going to be tough times maybe for some people out there. Many people out there, the holidays are tough. You're trying to find a way to pay the bills. Inflation kills your joy. I get it. And for the politicos, they got to figure a way to get that new generation on board. Both sides competing for it. But folks, I'm here to tell you, it goes back to the old adages. It goes back to the old principles. You're just going to have to get at it. And we're all going to have to go and make the world a better place around us. And hopefully, if we all drive forward on that, better days will await. Let's go. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We are done for now, but don't worry. Do not fret. Not yet, for more content is still coming your way 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. What a joy it has been to share our time with you. We hope you feel the same. Adding value to your every single day is our job here, and we take it very seriously. Folks, the only thing we ask in return is that you consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. And drop a comment right on down below. And folks, if you'd like to subscribe to our partner YouTube channels, That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and some of those radio stations like Vacation Radio, well, we certainly would appreciate it. Until the next time we have the honor of spending time and being invited into your day, folks, we go on our way saying this: keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Jump into the water!
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.